Hi, my name is Jenet Schijns, and I am the CEO of JS Group. And I just want to thank everyone at today's event for joining me. And I hope that you had a fantastic day one and that you continue to have a fantastic day two. And I'm just going to talk to you briefly about what I see happening in the industry, where and why it matters to each of you, and then, where I think the world is going and where IBCS Group is so important. So I'm going to open up today with one word: fast. Everything is moving fast, particularly as we come back from a post-pandemic world. All of us focused on growth. We're seeing record growth, in fact, across portfolios, from devices with 18 to 22% growth forecasted, to services and support and cloud with 40, 50% growth forecasted. We are in a growth mode. In fact, we are in such a fast growth mode that capacity, supply chain, and other issues are more plaguing this year than anything we would have to do to get business. But that doesn't mean that everyone will grow the same. There's an old saying that all boats rise with a high tide. It's not true. Some boats get stuck in the mooring. Some boats get stuck at the dock, and other boats float to the top. We want to be that boat. We want to be who grows in this, a very high, very hot, very fast paced market that all of you can and will and should be taking advantage of. As the world comes back to business, as goods move through the services that you provide, working with Zebra, working across the industry in multiple verticals in your market, the services you provide to capture, move, manage, understand, protect, secure, and use data for your customers to be able to better run their business has never been more important than ever. And of course, mobility is driving a lot of that growth. And so you truly are in the catbird seat when you think about that growth. But again, to take advantage of growth, there's things you really have to do. And the first trend that we're seeing around technology growth, particularly advanced solutions like those that you provide in your market, is local. Business is increasingly local. Now, this is after many decades of a more distributed, more remote way of managing things. The pandemic changed that. The pandemic reinforced the need for local help, local support, local relationships, not just because of safety, but also because of the innovation that local partners like IBCS were able to bring in their local market when the world changed, right? You were essential workers on the front line, helping your customers make sure that their business continued to perform. And because of that, that local touch is going to, according to all the analysts and our own research at JS Group, continue to be a key element as you move forward. So for you who have built your businesses locally, who have those relationships, who understand the market, this points to you being able to capture more of the growth than some of your competitors who are distributed or remote. We're also seeing a hard turn towards more custom solutions. Now, in theory, these are not completely customized. These are really things that you do for a customer and then you change slightly for the next customer. But the customer's perception is that the solution is customized. And where this is coming from is the world is adopting software as a service. They're adopting recurrent revenue purchasing. And because they are adopting a variety of devices, connectivity methods, ISVs, independent software vendors, and the partner, you, are knitting those together, the solutions are beginning to feel more and more custom to the customer. This is a good thing. This is a good growth trend. Customers are willing to pay for customization. Customers are willing to pay for your experience as they look, even in the enterprise, even in the biggest enterprises, as they look to move to almost a one-to-one relationship. with their trusted provider. And that's you. You are their trusted provider. You are who's giving them the advice for their business that's allowing them to survive. And now, as we go back to growth, thrive in a high growth, technology driven market. Why is that so important for all of us to embrace and understand? It's because the desire to believe that we are having a one-to-one relationship, that the solution is customized for us, that you understand and are local to our market has never been higher before. There's actually a return to the way things used to be done from a relationship standpoint. Now look, there is not a return to going back to legacy platforms. The whole world has went digital, and much of that will remain in place. But there is a desire, a fever, if you will, for not only one-on-one attention, but one-on-one contact. The ability to, in your local market, have a relationship with someone who's smart enough to understand your business and willing to provide everything that you need to harness the growth. Because all of these companies, all of these customers that you work with are grappling with the same things that IBCS is grappling with. How do we capture this growth? How do we pull this growth? How do we take advantage of growth? And the answer is a return to the one-on-one relationship. Now, there's a number of ways to make the customer feel that you have that one-on-one relationship. We're seeing a lot of success with social media and engaging with customers on LinkedIn or the platform that their industry uses and having those conversations digitally. There's, of course, a return to in-person meetings and events. And there's a really increased need to get super good at having one-on-one conversations with limited slideware and limited things behind you on platforms like Zoom and others, much like I'm doing today. So having a real conversation with people about how they're feeling, what they want to have happen, what are their goals for their company, and how can you help them with it? Less PowerPoints, more conversations, less set solutions, more discussions about budget, more discussions about growth goals, and more discussions about the help that they need. That one-on-one engagement is leading to sales being 43% higher for the partners who really focus on this deep relationship model in the coming 24 months. And this is where you are truly in the seat for growth, because this has been something that the IBCS partners have done forever. You are great at this, and the industry applauds you for that. Now, that doesn't mean, as I mentioned earlier, that we're not going to go digital. Things are digital now. Applications are digital, solutions are digital, data clouds are giving us answers we never knew were possible. Analytics are showing us insight into our customer data that we never thought we would know. Let me give you an example. In the past, we might have provided a company with support for their warehouse and how do they find inventory and how do they move inventory and ship it effectively. And how do they track that shipment and make sure that it was received on the other side. But now we're seeing things in the US, I'll use as an example, we're seeing hacks against things like meat processing plants where they're being shut down for days on end because someone hacked into their network. And why did that happen? How did the person get in? Well, there's a couple of answers. Digital creates risk. In most of these hacks, the customer was hacked because they left a quote unquote back door open for some kind of service or something. They had patched together something in order to go digital in reaction to what happened in the last 14 months, and they didn't adequately protect it. And as a result, everything that they have digitized was shut down. And the manual processes of the past take a long time to start back up. And so as the world goes digital, not just from digital marketing, but digitizing the warehouse, inventory, production, supply chain, it comes with a very high security risk. That security risk can be mitigated, can be removed by making sure that you're addressing that, right? So we can't change and go back from digital, but we can say digital is creating opportunities. It's creating opportunities for mobility, for workers to work remote, right? And that brings with it things that you can sell. But whether it's a Zebra device for someone in the field, or whether it's connectivity for someone who's working from home. But more importantly, digital brings opportunities because of the risk of security. Digital brings with it an opportunity for you to go in and work with customers and talk to them about their risks, about their issues, and about their opportunities. But we also see in this digital that what's really happening is the goal is not just to go digital for these companies, right? Digitizing a process, a supply chain or inventory management process is interesting. And it certainly saves paperwork and complications. And certainly partners can limit the security risk, right, for the customer. But people are moving beyond digital now, and they're moving to more immersive experiences. So rather than having pieces of a process done digitally, while other pieces are still perhaps done in a different manner, they're really looking at immersive experiences. How does it improve their customer's experience? How does their customer become much more integrated? And how does the customer's experience become so immersive that they go back to it many times? And I'll use a simple example for this. If you order something online and you can track both the status of delivery, but also the condition of the product as it's coming to you, this becomes something that enables you to make better decisions as an enterprise or as a consumer. And so these immersive experiences are really exploding with growth. And that requires that you have both expertise and the ability to knit together mobility with cloud and the right cloud applications, with analytics that show what the right decision should be. And of course, with your services that support all of that for your customers, including the security that's needed to make sure that their data, as it's moving, is protected. So those solutions that we begin to see in this digital world that's fast growth and one-on-one become different. The solutions of yesterday were about projects. They were about a specific project that a customer would do, and that the customer said, this is my project. The project has a timeline, it has a set delivery date, and when the project is finished, while you may have some level of support that you want to give for that project, it's really limited to support. Today's model is not that. Today says the solution is actually taking a back seat to the services, that you lead with the services, that you lead with how you, as a partner, service the customer. How do you understand what's happening? How do you respond to a risk before it's even seen? How do you see an improvement before it's ever known? And this is all done through this deep one-on-one immersive experience in the company. This is where things are going. Enablers like blockchain technology are helping with this. Enablers like analytics and data lakes are helping with this. The machines are beginning to learn, and those machines are giving us insights into what the next best service should be for a client. So I'm going to use an example from the finance industry. So one that we don't often talk about together. But in the finance industry, about 20% of credit card applications are fraudulent. And a partner last year went to one of the largest banks and said, let us study your data. Let us study what's happening. And what they found was that there are 36 items that someone had to fill out in order to get a credit card online. And 7 of those items were things that if you didn't know them, you would have to spend a little bit of time to find them. And so what they did was they started practicing a practice where they said, if the customer comes in and in those 7 areas where it's difficult to remember the information or know the information, we're okay with that. But in the rest of it, if the person pauses in filling out address, phone number, name, right, location, things they should know off the top of their head, we're going to tag that and stop them applying. because our take on it is they're fraudulent or they need help. Maybe English is their second language. Maybe they have vision problems. Maybe they're not good at the computer. And so they'd be more comfortable working with a representative on the phone to complete their application instead of doing it online. That partner saved the credit card company they worked with $500 million in fraudulent credit cards in the first 6 months. 500 million. So when they proposed that they also thought that they should automate the credit card delivery system and tracking inventory of the cards, replacement of the cards, there was no question about the $60 million proposal they gave for that, because they had saved the company $500 million. This is the future of partnering. These services that lead with the benefit and then pull the solutions and technologies behind them are where the world is going. And that's why it's so important that you be a strategic service provider as a company, that you lead with services and pull the solutions behind you that bring those services to life, that you integrate and are immersive one-on-one with your clients, always looking for the next thing to prescribe, always looking for the next opportunity to help their business grow or protect their bottom line. That's the strength of the IBCS group, the power of you. This is your power. You've been ready for this for a long time. The market is cooperating with you. Take advantage, move swiftly, implement with your teams the strategic services provider model, the SSP model, and take action. On behalf of everyone at JS Group, for all the many years we've had a relationship with you, thank you. We so much appreciate everything that you've done with us, and we wish you all the very best. So go out in the market and win.